Oh, and they are getting started. Just 20 rupees.
Start.
And so we got some divergence. Looks like Houston Baba is going to go check out the Lake Hylia entrances, and Dracarys is fake flippering over to the potion shop.
Yeah, this potion shop start is actually one of the more common ones in Crossworld Insanity, because it allows you to check this very out of the way, obscure Sphere 1 entrance, and also lets you set up for a hula hand play, which, given you can often be very resource starved in the early game, is usually quite beneficial.
Yeah, I usually want to try to find some bombs right away, because there's so many entrances that you go into or need to open with bombs that it's important to find those.
Yep. And this ensures that you can buy some if you happen to stumble upon a bomb shop anywhere.
So I think Houston Baba is going to follow Dracarys over there. And we found the king.
Okay.
So on those Hylia entrances, looks like we had one connector, the fairy cave connector, and then we also had the bottom of Spiral Cave, which you can't get to anywhere from.
Yep. So we'll see when our runners decide to follow that connector. It's one of the more awkward ones, so it might take them a while.
Or you might decide to check it out right away.
Take 10 seconds, who knows? Okay. Well, this is quite the rabbit hole Dracarys has found himself in, isn't it?
Now, did he check both entrances, or did he just go into this one and just follow? Oh, he doesn't have any bombs yet, I see.
Yeah, he doesn't have bombs, so he couldn't have checked the other one.
So Sanctuary is at the Magic Bat location, so it's easy access to Kakariko. That's nice.
Yeah, having Sanctuary be at the Magic Bat or the Well is usually really nice, because there's often a lot of important entrances in Kakariko, and having quick access to them is quite nice. Okay then. Oh, this got weirder. I got a small key. The Swamp Palace, okay.
Well, that's an important one.
Houston Baba forgetting that you can talk to the bomb shop NPC to find out what the crystals are. The 5-6 crystals, that is. Could be useful information.
There's the bow.
The bow. Okay. That's a decent haul.
So the old man is gonna spit us out next to Pod over.
That is not a terribly useful save and quit point when they eventually unlock it, but
We can see Houston Baba is having a little bit of problems with the resources here. He wasn't able to check one chest in Blind's hut because he doesn't have bombs. Luckily, he got some money here so that he can check the bottle vendor. Dracarys losing some money over here because you can't open those chests when you're a bunny.
Forgetting he doesn't have a moon pearl.
We got the back of Turtle Rock over here.
That's usually a very nice entrance to find, although dodging those lasers can be a bit tricky. And here's Misery Mire also.
We got a lot of entrances just going back and forth. Just the runner's just trying to find out where everything is right now.
Yeah, the early game in this mode is usually spent just running around and figuring out where everything is so you know what you're doing. We find the well in Lost Woods. Baba opting to not check it out yet, perhaps hoping to find some bombs first.
Dracarys found that back of desert over at Sasrala's hut. Oh, there's some bombs for Houston Baba. And Dracarys did steal the key, so when he finds and the moon pearl also for Houston Baba. Wow.
It's a pretty good find. Cane of Burna, as well as a shield. Not the most exciting treasures, but
Top of Paradox Cave. It's kind of unfortunate that Dracarys still doesn't have any bombs himself either. Oh,
well, a lucky bomb drop solves that problem. Oh, and we find that Ganon is under the lumberjack tree, which means we're looking at an Aghanim 1C, boys. The only way to access this drop down is to defeat Aghanim and dash into the tree, and as such, that will need to happen at some point.
Always a fun find.
Yes, fun.
And because this is Key Sanity as well, that means they're gonna need to find both Castle Tower keys.
Which can be pretty much anywhere. We find a Turtle Rock Big Key and the mirror in Paradox Cave. And the boots. Wow. Good
That's
stuff.
a lot of good movement for Dracarys.
Yeah. The mirror is often considered the most important item in this game mode just because a lot of entrances are locked behind it and it prevents a lot of backtracking. To places like this floating island, for instance. And a lamp. Brief glimpse at Desert Palace.
Yeah, it looks like Dracarys is just gonna check these other entrances that he can get to first before he commits himself there.
Yeah. You can access quite a bit from here with this mirror. Opts to drop down in the middle to check these two entrances, which seems like a reasonable choice. Finds a potion shop. You know, Houston Baba has found a Bomb Boss medallion at the Uncle Dropdown at Sanctuary, and not much else.
Yeah, so really it looks like that this play right now is to go over to Eastern and
And
the
a
flute.
flute in Eastern Palace. Wow. Lots of mobility tools for Dracarys. And Dracarys seems to have forgotten that despite all his mobility tools, the hookshot is not one of them. So he has to go the long way around.
Houston Baba is finishing up his Kakariko checks now that he has his bomb.
Does not seem to be finding much of note. Finds Skull Woods. Ooh, and takes a death.
Dracarys finds a powder there. So Dracarys has just basically been following this rabbit hole and he still hasn't gotten over to Kakariko. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. He has not been there yet.
Over on the race game, we've got another small key in plain sight.
We've got the sick kid who gives us some bombs. Not much else of note on the east side of Death Mountain except for that Eastern Palace.
Alright, looks like Houston Baba's going over to the east side of the map. So if he checks that cave south of Eastern Palace entrance, he'll be able to get all those items as well.
Yeah, meanwhile, Dracarys is gonna be catching up on all the checks in Kakariko that Houston Baba has done previously. He'll be getting his bow and Turtle Rock big key, or Palace of Darkness big key, excuse me. And whatever else was here. Not much else of note, I don't think.
Houston Baba's skipping out on that Desert Palace key. Oh, and we got our 5-6 crystals as Eastern and Desert.
Pretty easily accessible crystals in theory, although who knows where those big keys could be hiding.
Yeah, and to answer chat, Baba did come back over here to open up the back. I believe it was 300 rupees. Oh, Houston Baba's taking a death outside of Eastern.
Snipe
That might
plan
lead
on.
him away from that critical entry.
Yeah, that could be quite bad for him if he does not get back for that soon.
It looks like he's going to check out the South Shore instead.
We find the Hype Cave, which has moved into the light world, but otherwise stayed in the same location.
Ether, a heart container, a heart piece, and another heart piece.
Slightly above average Hype Cave, I guess.
Dracarys having the lamp will be able to see what this is. This is just the back of the old man's cave. Which is actually a pretty convenient way to get to the Dark World now. And we don't have to go through that entire Super Bunny chain.
Yeah. Could also give a fairly convenient save and quit point to Kakariko once the old man is rescued. And we find Spiral Cave. One of my less appreciated connectors in this mode. It's quite annoying to go through.
Now we know where Spiral Cave exits out, but do you think it
Yeah.
would have been worth it to check out the Agina's Cave entrance and then come back to this?
It might have been, yeah. Because that one is pretty far out of the way now. Might be hard to route in later.
Okay, Houston Baba might be headed back that way. And that's where he needs to get to. He needs to get to that Paradox Cave.
I find that dark room is the old man rescue cave. Master Dracarys activate his float. Which will be quite useful to him.
Houston Baba just being a little bit careful here.
Yeah, this is not somewhere you want to take a death.
So I think the main thing that we have open to us right now is Death Mountain with that flute, right?
Yes, the flute, and they also have the connector. Here we see the laser bridge that Houston Baba skipped out on earlier. We're gonna see Dracarys check these chests. While Houston Baba finds his goodies in Paradox Cave. Ooh, and there's a glove on laser bridge. That's pretty important.
Yeah, that's a good. And with the lamp, Dracarys can continue backwards through Turtle Rock because this is all in logic.
Yeah, he can at least get this one chest, and we'll see if he continues any further. Although with no real equipment to fight the Pokies with, he may choose to leave those chests for later. Oh, tries to keep going, but takes it after the roller. Meanwhile, we're seeing the interior of Desert Palace from Houston Baba's side. Nothing too exciting there.
Alright, Houston Baba's checking these entrances on the Dark Death Mountain.
Finds Agina's cave, so he'll get himself an item. Meanwhile, Dracarys finds the well and is going to be collecting his moon pearl shortly. We find the Tower of Hera big key.
Yeah, we haven't really found that many dungeons, have we?
Yeah, I think we've found Eastern Palace, Desert Palace, Skullwood, Misery Mire, and the Laser Bridge entrance to Turtle Rock. I believe that's it. Still missing like half of them. And Dracarys is about to get the bad news. And we didn't see any entrance here. Houston Bob was not able to check this because he did not have the glove. And it is Thieves Town.
So 4 really quick checks over here.
Yeah.
And Houston Baba finds that King's Tomb has moved under the Pegasus Rocks. And another big key.
Big key to Swamp Palace, while Dracarys finds the flippers in the front of Thieves Town. See where Houston Baba's headed next. Looks like he's heading back towards Paradox Cave, perhaps? Wants to follow that connector some more? Dracarys is about to get his Swamp Palace big key. Not the most exciting find, but at least he won't be leaving that big chest behind when the time comes.
So the other Paradox exit comes out on the west side of Death Mountain.
Just a bit helpful, but with the flute in hand, it's not so important. Although Houston Bob has not yet found the flute, of course, so for him it's actually quite good. And we find Hookshot Cave inside Tower of Hera. And here we have Swamp Palace, chilling next to Link's house. actually do have quite a number of tools for that dungeon already, but they have not yet found the dam.
Map the Dark Palace. I want to say Houston Baba found that old man's rescue exit, but I don't know if he's comfortable trying to save him.
Yeah. Of course, it could be a different dark cave altogether. It's happened before that I've tried to rescue the old man in the dark and been tricked. To answer chat, we are also still missing Ice Palace, Ganon's Tower, and I believe that's it. I believe those are the only dungeons left.
We got a little sync going on. High five.
Yeah. Houston Pava takes a save and quit. Let's see where he heads next. And this is indeed the Old Man Rescue Cave. And here we are getting, I believe, our first look at South Shore.
So Dracarys is kind of avoided. Ooh.
That was a bomb.
Press F to pay respects. Although we know there's not that much over there. Oh no, we haven't checked that bomb entrance yet, have we?
Yeah, we have not seen what's behind the bomb wall. Dracarys does not seem to be finding much of note on Death Mountain. Well, we are taking another run at crab territory. We'll see if this goes a bit better.
Small key to pod up on the Spectacle Rock. Dracarys is going to check these two entrances on the Dark Death Mountain. Seems like Houston Baba skipped this.
And we find the Smiths in Ice Rod Cave. As well as the Super Bunny Cave that Dracarys followed earlier. Okay, so that cave on the east side was nothing, on the west side rather. But the Spike Cave was a connector, which I'm presuming that Dracarys will follow now. So we'll see where that leads us.
Houston Baba gonna get his Swamp Palace small key. Dracarys gets spit out over.
Well, he's already had access to these, so it's not terribly useful, but... And he's floating away. Let's see where he heads next. Going back to Kakariko. And looks like we'll be getting another high five from our runners.
But yeah, that's a lot of things to think about in this mode. There's so many entrances and so many different ways to reach them that sometimes you just don't realize that you can get somewhere.
Yeah, these things just slip your mind sometimes. There's definitely a lot to think about. And looks like both runners will be taking a trip up to the Palace of Darkness entrance.
Paying their 110 rupees here.
Hopefully it'll be worth it. It probably won't be. But maybe it will. Who knows?
Ooh.
It's gonna be
Bye bye,
120 rupees for Dracarys. And it is just a regular old shop.
Houston Bella finally coming back to Turtle Rock.
Should be
So
quite a bit easier now with this Cane of Burna.
yeah, so he's gonna pick up his gloves and let's see how if he decides to go any further.
Yeah, we did miss a few chests from Dracarys' side in here.
Yeah, we might see that top of Fyro Castle right now, actually.
It seems that way. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but I don't think we've seen the front entrance to Hyrule Castle or the drop down yet either.
The drop down is next to Sanctuary, isn't it?
Hmm?
I mean, where they come out from Sanctuary. Okay, Pod is here. And with the bow, that's pretty nice. Now, they only have, yeah, Dracarys only has one small key. But
Yeah,
that's enough
one
to
small
do a lot
key.
of checks.
Yeah, one small key can check 5 chests in here currently.
No, don't open this door. Oh, okay. He's gonna go off to the right side.
Well, he doesn't have the hammer to proceed through both sides anyway, so if he wants to check anything else, he'll need to open that door.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the hammer.
It's easily forgotten. It's not a very important item. But checking this first makes sense in case the hammer's just here. Wouldn't be the first time. Meanwhile, Houston Bava is returning to some love-locked entrances he left behind previously. Finds the Meyer shed.
Well, I think he's coming here because he just found the gloves.
Yeah. It's a Troll Rock Smokey and the Troll Rock map. Dracarys has found a small key to Misery Mire. Starting to look like a pretty attractive option that actually they can do most of it. And the small key lets them route it a bit more conveniently. So let's see if he chooses to do that. we find a Palace of Darkness Smokey inside Palace of Darkness.
So he'll be able to keep on going.
Houston Baba finds a dark cave in Agina's cave. Chooses not to explore further, which I can't say I blame him for. It's actually quite tricky to navigate those dark caves in this mode when you don't even know which dark cave you're in.
And especially without a sword, right?
Yeah, for sure. And we find the Desert Palace Smokey in Palace of Darkness.
Houston Baba's got to be careful with these crabs again.
Yeah, he's plain and dangerous. And it looks like Dracarys is going to set up for the hammer jump to check the chest in the dark maze.
Oh!
And Houston Baba takes another crab death. It's unfortunate. Dracarys gets the hammer jump, finds a Skullwood Smokey. Starting to find quite a number of maps.
Yeah, it might be time for a map check pretty soon.
Yeah, I expect we'll see a map check from one of our runners relatively soon. Maybe start to figure out which dungeons are required.
Can't access this middle entrance yet, and we are still without a sword 37 minutes in.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to be running around without any sort of effective weapon for quite a while. Dracarys is mirroring here to check this drop down.
Houston
Not really
Baba's,
seen this yet.
I think Houston Baba checked this one. Yeah, and he found out that it was the fairy cave. But Houston Baba's going through this connector right now, even though he should know where the other side comes out. I feel like he's kind of floundering on where to go next. He's been going and checking kind of these single entrances that have been unlocked with his gloves.
Yeah, I don't think he really has decided what he wants to do right now.
What is the main thing that he's missing?
The flute
The
would be
flute,
helpful,
right? Yeah.
but the flute hasn't really given Dracarys access to much that Houston Baba doesn't already have access to. It's just movement convenience for the moment.
Dracarys has the flippers, which puts all of these checks that Houston Baba's
Yeah.
gonna do.
Let's see, where were those flippers? I forget. We're gonna see a look at the so-called shopping mall. It's a collection of 3 very out-of-the-way entrances here in the southeast corner of the Dark World.
That's right. Chat reminding me that Flippers was in Thieves Town, which Houston Baba
That's
does have
right.
access to. It's under that glove locked entrance, right?
Yeah, it's the rock that normally takes you up to Death Mountain. Find a connector at the shopping mall. Which does not prove very useful. Dracarys will be fighting the Smith shortly, and we find Mini Moldorm Cave in the waterfall.
That's a good entrance to find. It's all of these entrances like Mini Moldorm, Hype Cave, Blind's Hut. You always want to find because it's just so many items right there.
Yeah. drinking his potion so he can refill his magic and use Cane of Samaria blocks versus these Moldorms, which I find is a lot more convenient than bombs. And find the Pond of Happiness up at the Dark World equivalent of the Witch's Hut. Always a nice find. Bombs can be quite important in this mode.
Houston Baba just really finding a shield in Mini Moldorm Cave, so it didn't pay off.
A shield in Mini Moldorm Cave behind the waterfall. That's like kinda vanilla, right? Dracarys running low on health up here, but we'll be checking Catfish shortly. And then we'll likely mirror to do these flipper checks that Houston Baba has just done.
Well, Houston Baba couldn't because yeah. Once he started walking inside Mini Moldorm Cave, then he was kind of stuck at the entrance to Waterfall. You couldn't actually get out to check Zora.
Yeah. Dracarys quite concerned about these Moldorms, it would seem. Sends out his trusty bee to slay them for him. While Houston Baba is making his way into Misery Mire. Unfortunately does not have that lamp that Dracarys has found, so will not be able to check the 2 Firelock chests.
But this dungeon has been open to them for a while with those boots.
Yeah. Misery Mire is generally a dungeon I like to dive pretty early in this mode. You find a big key on the Zora ledge. To answer a question in chat, Floating Island was one of the Paradox Cave exits, which Baba did not follow.
I think he followed the other one, which took him to the west side of Death Mountain.
I believe you're correct. And we see this is the big key to Thieves Town.
Alright, that opens up the rest of Thieves Town.
Yeah, although without the small key, only one more chest in there is actually in logic. And with no real convenient way to kill blind, I don't expect Dracarys to go for that play anytime soon. Find another Turtle Rock, small key, and Misery Mire.
So we haven't seen any of West Dark World yet. Is that not accessible to them right now?
They do not appear to have found any connectors there now. I find a shovel.
Alright.
Chat pointing out that they have not, in fact, checked the other exits to Desert Palace. So those could perhaps take them to the West Dark World.
Looks like Houston Baba is gonna get over to Thieves Town over here.
Yeah, he will be getting his flippers shortly.
Yeah, I think those are the only connectors left that they haven't followed. Although there is that dark connector at Agina's Cave as well.
that's right, yeah.
There may be some other entrances that they haven't checked between the two of them. Especially in the east of Death Mountain, that area, I feel like maybe one or two entrances haven't been checked yet.
Yeah, I believe the Hookshot Cave rock has not been lifted because neither of them had a glove when they were up there. And Spiral Cave is unchecked as well, I believe.
Looks like we're gonna get this dig spot check.
Dracarys finds his way into Spiral Cave and opts to follow it. He already knows where it leads, but may as well get the item.
And just 10 arrows at the dig spot.
Nothing too exciting there. Looks like Houston Baba may be checking those bonk rocks next to Link's house, which I believe was Swamp Palace. Oh, no, he's going somewhere else.
Now, where was the flute again?
The flute was in Eastern Palace, which is on the east side of Death Mountain.
I see. And so Houston Baba, he checked the Dark Death Mountain entrances at the bottom instead of dropping down the way that Dracarys did.
That is correct.
Alright, Dracarys is following the Dark Connector, which is the Death Mountain exit.
And we'll see where this takes him. The bumper
Wow.
just Titan's minutes. Now that's some good value.
So that gives us access to all of this Dark World now.
Finds the bottom of Spectacle Rock, which isn't very helpful. But he does have more or less the entire Dark World open to him at this point, so we'll be seeing a lot of new ground being covered here. We find Sahasrara, and the green pennant is Palace of Darkness again? It's been Palace of Darkness in my last like 4 seats. Finds a cape in the closet. Have we seen Bumper Cave? I don't believe so. No, we have not, so that could be something.
Houston Baba's gonna find his pod entrance right here.
Yeah. We find a mushroom. All the fetch quests turning up early in this one.
Well, at least with the flute, it'll be easy to turn in. Then you could just whenever you get back to Death Mountain, you could check what it is.
Or you could forget to turn in the mushroom constantly, like I do.
So are we able to deduce what the pyramid drop is now? Is it Magic Bat or something?
I believe it is Magic Bat. I think that's the only one we have not seen. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it.
And that graveyard ledge we find... not much. And with flute and mitts in hand, Dracarys will be checking out the mire area, which is a pretty large cluster of entrances. Usually has something quite good. Let's see what he finds today.
Ice Rod.
An ice rod. That's helpful. Eventually, maybe. We don't know yet. He may need to kill Trinex, he may not. Playing the archery game, which he opts not to play, probably does not want money. Not that I know why he would want money at this point.
I am surprised we still haven't gotten a map check here at 50 minutes in.
Yeah. I mean, they don't really have the tools to complete any dungeons yet, so I guess there's no real hurry.
Quake as the medallion needed for the Misery Mire entrance.
Oh, and Houston Baba finds her first sword in Paths of Darkness in one of the chests. Dracarys opted to not check.
Which check did he? I mean, which chest did he check? Was it the big key chest?
It was the chest that has the big key in the vanilla game. And that contains a sword, which will probably take quite a while for Dracarys to find.
That's usually my very last chest that I check when I go into pod.
Yeah, same. And it looks like Dracarys will be using his mitts to check out the Village of Outcasts area. And possibly also Skullwoods. No Skullwoods play yet. It looks like.
So I think right now, I mean, Houston Baba kind of needs that lamp is what led to the Titan's mitts, right?
Yeah, the lamp leads to the Titan's mitts. And the flute is probably going to be rather important as well. Here we see the dam. We did find Swamp Palace earlier. The runners may opt to check that out at some point. Although without the hammer, they won't be able to get too much done in there.
There's one of the desert
attempts
entrances.
to pay the fish, but does not have the money. And here we find Desert Palace, so yes, that was in fact a connector to the West Dark World. But thankfully for our runners, not the only one.
Well, if Houston Baba finds this one, then it might take him a while to find out how to get to those mitts.
Yeah, if he finds that first, it may very well lead him quite far away from those Titan's mitts. Which is not necessarily a bad thing. Titan's mitts are generally not the greatest item in this mode compared to others, and we find one of our Castle Tower small keys in Desert Palace, which, as previously established, will be necessary since Ganon is hiding out in the Lumberjack tree today. Looks like Houston Baba is going for the Thieves Town play. They'll be leaving that big chest behind, a bit risky perhaps, but... And there's the other Castle Tower small key. Okay, they're playing nice today. At the race game.
Now we just have to find Castle Tower itself.
That would help. And Dracarys will be taking the smith with him on a journey. It would seem.
I'll just flute and return him right away, I guess.
Seems that way. Probably looking to just get this and the purple chest out of the way immediately. Now, one quirk about enchants is that the smith will actually follow you wherever you go. The only way to get rid of him is to get a different follower, turn him in, or complete a crystal dungeon, which will respawn him. For unknown reasons. Not quite sure why that is.
Oh.
And it's the big key of Ganon's tower. Well.
Alright, we got a blind fight on Houston Baba's side.
And he takes down blind. Rewards him with 3 bombs and a crystal. Our first crystal of the race. Dracarys does opt to just get the smith chain out of the way, which is understandable. It's pretty awkward to check in this mode.
Still got a lot of entrances to go in the Dark World here.
Yeah, and we find Turtle Rock. With no fire rod, Dracarys will only be able to check one chest here. Well, I guess he could proceed to the chomp room if he wants to use his keys. But I'm not sure if he'll be willing to do that. And yeah, looks like he's just leaving.
Oh, is this Houston Baba making his way back over to Death Mountain?
It seems that way. Perhaps he'll follow the third Paradox Cave exit here. We find Hyrule Castle hanging out at Cave 45.
Oh yeah, this is the first time we've seen it, huh? No, Houston, use your mirror! Oh, he'll see it now when he gets to the light world, I hope.
We find the silver arrows in the library, which has relocated itself. I can't imagine they get many customers up there.
Bombos is our Turtle Rock medallion today. Houston Baba, I feel like he skipped that floating island. I don't know if he saw it or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He might have missed it. Well, he finds Eastern Palace now at least, so he will get his flute momentarily. nothing of note in the
Yeah.
front of the escape section.
But he can go all the way to the back.
Indeed.
Although he could have checked the back when he picked up the purple chest, couldn't he?
Yeah, he may have already checked that, I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out.
Another map, this one of Misery Mire.
Getting quite a number of maps, and we still haven't looked at any of them. But again, they don't really have the tools for many of the dungeons, so the information doesn't really help that much right now. Yeah, it does look like Dracarys has not checked this yet.
We got a little hint tile over there on Houston Baba's side. Sometimes it's hard to get rid of that muscle memory. The small key to Tower of Hera over here.
As well as the red mail.
So we are just a little over 1 hour in the seed. What's your thoughts on it so far? Is it being a nice seed? Is it kind of blocking things? Feels a little bit late for not having checked a whole bunch of entrances.
It was definitely quite late in providing access to the majority of the Dark World. That usually happens much earlier in the seed, but I feel like they have a lot of tools to at least check all of this efficiently now, so it may still be a relatively fast seed, just with a slow start.
So with this check, I think we only have those 2 chests in the front that we haven't seen in Turtle Rock. Is that right?
That and...
Oh, Chain Chomps. Alright, that we'll see
Yeah.
right here.
We'll see Chain Chomp. No, Dracarys misses the magic refill. That's unfortunate. Yeah, we have not seen Chain Chomps yet, but aside from that, I believe it is only the 2 Firelock chests in the front and Trinex remaining. Ooh, we find a hammer in the Chomp room. That's a big find.
I feel like Turtle Rock is always hiding something important in one of those chests. Crystal Roller or Chain Chomp.
I think Chain Chomp Room has had a required item in like every entrance seed I've ever played in my life. It just seems to happen all the time.
Here's Ice Palace.
Ice Palace hanging out in Hype Cave. So I believe at this point we have seen every dungeon except for Tower of Hera, GT, and Castle Tower.
Our runner's probably hoping they never see GT.
You can always hope, but... And there's the Thieves' Town small key, so when Dracarys gets around to that, he will be able to open that big chest that Houston Baba left behind. We
Here's our
finally
map
get
check.
a map check. Got Pendant Skullwoods, and crystals at Mire Ice and Turtle Rock. I think is what I saw. Or is that Swamp Palace and not Ice? I'm not sure. So the fire rod will be required. The save is usually not locking too much in entrance, but
Looks like Houston Baba's reached that point where he's trying to figure out what exactly is open to him. Where should he go?
yeah, looks that way. It's never a fun point to reach.
But yeah, I think he has a couple options. If he doesn't go for the lamp, he can still get to the Dark World through, was it Desert? I think Desert
Yeah,
Palace.
Desert Palace. And poor
That
Dracarys,
would
lacking
open
a
up.
sword, has to hammer these poor pegs down, one by one.
Have they figured out what the pyramid drop down is? We believe it is Magic Bat.
Yes, I am pretty sure Magic Bat is the only one we have not seen. We find the Eastern Palace big key in the fortune teller near Skullwoods. So Dracarys will be able to complete Eastern Palace. Although it is quite far out of the way, so I expect he probably will not go back there for some time.
Well, looks like he does have the resources to finish.
Yeah.
At what point do you feel like it's time to start going for the different dungeons?
Generally I don't really prioritize dungeons until, like, I can full clear, like, a relatively item-dense dungeon that is also easily accessible, like, let's say, Misery Mire or Ice Palace, although dipping certain dungeons early can be pretty beneficial, like Eastern Palace, Thieves Town of course, Palace of Darkness. Dipping those, I feel, is almost always the correct play. But unless you happen to stumble upon a dungeon that you can full clear at this stage in the game, I really wouldn't bother. Personally.
Alright, it just feels like Dracarys is starting to run out of entrances to check, and then if you're looking for a place to
Yeah.
go, maybe it's time to like finish Thieves Town, finish Eastern.
Yeah. Like at that point, you probably just pick a dungeon you can full clear and just go check it out. We do also have the vast majority of Ice Palace open to us, although that sword they have is out of logic until they find a significant number of Palace of Darkness small keys. And Dracarys hasn't even found it yet, so he doesn't have the option.
Looks like he is gonna take advantage of the fact that he's in this area and go ahead and finish up Thieves Town. He's got everything to full clear it, right?
Yep, he can do everything in here, including that big chest that Houston Baba left behind, so if that has something important in it, that could be quite a game changer.
Houston Baba is gonna go ahead and do his Zora checks over here.
Yeah. It's interesting to me that neither runner has opted to check out Skullwoods yet. It's a pretty easily accessible large chunk of items.
feel like Dracarys is probably gonna head there once he's done up with Use Down.
Yeah, it seems probable.
Oh, Houston Baba still doesn't have enough money for Azora after all this time. So he's gonna try to farm some money over here. Yeah, it always feels bad when you just need a few more rupees and no one's giving it to you.
Yeah, all he needs is one big 20, and there are no big 20s to be found. It's a bomb. Not quite what he's looking for. Chat brings up the point that he does have a shovel and can perhaps dig up some money, but oh, he gets one. And we're about to see that big chest that Baba left behind earlier in Thieves Town. Drum roll. Nope.
Looks like we get to see a hammer blind fight.
Yeah, Dracarys still does not have a sword. And likely won't get that sword that Houston Baba found for some time. Can't see him going back to Palace of Darkness anytime soon. Takes down Blind and will collect his first crystal.
Yeah, where are all these swords hiding? How about something like book at the magic bat and then we have both swords on the tablets?
I've seen worse. I have definitely seen worse.
No, Dracarys is fluting away instead of checking Skull Woods.
Turning in that shroom. Perhaps looking to complete Eastern Palace. The potion shop was next to that, so maybe he's trying to drop that in. And yes, it looks like that's what he's going for. Also, let's route in the Hookshot Cave entrance, which he has not yet checked. We know from Houston Baba that's the library, which has the silver arrows. So that'll speed Dracarys' boss kills up somewhat.
I feel like I see Houston Baba coming back to this cave over and over again. I guess it's because he hasn't rescued the old man yet, huh?
And at the potion shop, we find a fire rod.
Wow.
Yeah, Houston Baba has not yet rescued the old man, so this connector is his only real access to this area. As far as he knows, of course. We know that one of the dark caves in Kakariko is the back of the old man cave, which would do it as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's worth it when you find the dark connector on Death Mountain. You just try to go for the old man because, I mean, it has to be up there, so you should at least try to do that connector.
Yeah. I'm not sure how comfortable he is with doing various dark rooms, but I agree that is usually a play you want to try to make if possible. Nothing of note in the big chest in Eastern Palace. And to answer chat, the Lazy Bridge entrance was in Kakariko, so Chinex is beatable for Dracarys. Houston Baba looks like he's trying to figure out what his next move is going to be. Dracarys pulling out Cane of Burnout for that room. One of my more preferred ways of doing that room if I don't have a sword.
I like using the Samaria there, where you get 3 each and you set down 2 blocks.
Yeah, that's also pretty good. Baba heading back into Misery Mire. I believe he left some chests behind here earlier. And Dracarys takes down Armos Knights and collects crystal number 2. Nothing of note in the dungeon, but a crystal is a crystal.
I think Houston Baba is realizing that he did all those chests already. Because he doesn't have a fire source and he doesn't have the big key.
Yeah.
If he goes all the way backwards through Turtle Rock, he will find the entrance that leads out to the Dark World.
Yeah. And if he goes far enough, he may also find his hammer.
Oh yeah, that would be big too.
Dracarys finds his Tower of Hera big key. And Save quits.
Where is he off to now? Houston Baba is trying to navigate this dark room. He's got there.
I expect Dracarys might attempt to fight Trinex at this point.
Seems reasonable. I mean, he's got to do it anyways, and he'll see what that item.
No, not yet.
Ooh.
Baba gets sniped by the roller. Perhaps Dracarys is heading to Skullwoods. Yes, that is what he's doing. Which makes sense, now that he has the fire rod, he can check that entrance in the back. As well as getting all these chests.
Dracarys is not stuck.
Yeah, it's not one of the lockout Skullwoods layouts, which is quite fortunate.
Although he's kind of checked everything around here anyways. Here's at least one more pod key.
Yeah. Although I don't believe he has much left in pod. I believe he left one chest and the boss behind. I don't think he's gonna go back for that anytime soon, with it being a pendant especially. So he may never get that sword.
Houston Baba's got to be a little bit careful here. All these enemies hit for a lot.
He opts to not bother and just burn one of his keys, which I respect. He doesn't really need that many.
Yeah.
You find a book in Skullwoods.
Alright.
I guess a convenient pedestal check is in order. Most likely. The Baba decides he wants revenge on that Poke.
Dracarys did save a key for the back of Skullwoods. I wasn't paying attention.
I believe he has one key left, yes. Although he does not yet have a sword, so he cannot fight Mafia. On pedestal we have... Womp, womp.
Sorry, chat. Ped is dead.
Houston Bob opting to use silver arrows for these pokies. Perhaps... Oh! Gets sniped by a bouncy ball. And Dracarys is making the Misery Mire play.
So he hasn't been in here yet, right? So it's a lot of chests for him.
Yeah, I don't believe so. So this would be 6 items for him. 2 of which we have not yet seen. Having some trouble with these whiz robes. This room can be a bit of annoyance without a sword.
How do you think he's feeling right now with no sword at 80 minutes in?
Probably slightly annoyed, but it's pretty standard fare in entrance to not have convenient weaponry for quite some time. And I know Dracarys is quite the experienced entrance player, so he's probably fairly used to it.
I mean, so actually, what are we looking for? He only needs hookshot and 2 swords for go mode.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, and we need... See, we need the
Some keys.
Desert Palace and Mire big keys as well. Yeah, hookshot, 2 swords, and 2 big keys. And we know where one sword is, but I suspect Dracarys will not be getting that sword anytime soon, if ever. It is quite isolated for him.
Here's a big key.
Desert Palace
Ah.
big key. One step closer. Chat brings up a good point that with the cape Dracarys has, he can now check the Vanilla Castle Tower entrance, which is right next to Palace of Darkness, so that might bring him back there to check the remaining stuff inside the dungeon and get that sword.
Houston Baba
makes his way through Turtle Rock again.
He's not giving up. It may be that he just doesn't have very many other options left.
Yeah, I think he's running quite well. Dracarys finishes up his visit to Misery Mire. Did get that Desert Palace big key, which enables him to get another crystal.
Houston Baba's got his hammer, so that opens up Dark World for him.
That it does.
So yeah, Dracarys is definitely in that mode of, okay, I've got the tools to finish these dungeons, so let me just knock them out and then decide what to do based on what I find.
Yeah. I mean, he can quickly kill Lenmolas, which he's doing right now. He can also quickly kill Trinax and just work from there. We still have not seen Ganon's tower, which is interesting.
That Popo's hiding in the corner over there.
Popo knows all about the hammer hitbox. Wants none of it.
What are some entrances that they have access to that they haven't checked yet?
Let's see. Not a whole lot. I don't believe we've seen Ice Palace yet.
Sandcart from Landmo.
Let's see. We have the Misery Mire and Turtle Rock entrances, but the sword that Houston Baba has is currently out of logic. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they still have not gone out the right side of Desert Palace, which I suspect is going to be a connector to the Turtle Rock Bridge on Dark Death Mountain, which would give them access to the Mimic Cave entrance.
Well, that's right. We haven't seen that whole sequence yet.
So that would be a few more entrances. Garrus digs up his arrows. Looks like he...
Is it time for Turtle Rock?
Nope.
Nope.
Still no Turtle Rock. Not quite sure what his plan is. Oh, maybe he's going to Desert Palace? So we're in this direction. Maybe he wants to follow that connector. I guess that makes sense. You got the big key. You can check the big chest while he's here. I'd say rather underwhelming compass.
But yeah, I think if I was Dracarys, I'd be starting to get worried about where this required castle tower is.
Yeah. There is a good chance it's just inside Ganon's tower. That is a possibility. And as expected, this takes him to the Turtle Rock Bridge, so we'll see a few more entrances here.
Nice call.
Nothing in Mimic Cave. I'm also not sure if we've seen Spiral Cave. He may mirror for that one as well. It looks like he is, so he at least has not checked it. And it is Bumper Cave, okay.
Let's keep following the rabbit hole. Wow, that's right. Houston Baba still doesn't have the lamp.
Well, that Bumper Cave is underwhelming. And we're looking at this now. I don't remember what this was exactly. Oh yes, it's a Swamp Palace, that's right.
Oh, so he's doing Swamp without the hook shot. And did we see where this Hyrule Castle exit came out? Oh yes, that's right.
We did now. Garrus finds yet another Palace of Darkness small key.
Yeah, it really feels like there's not that many entrances remaining for... I mean, we've got to fit Hera and GT and Castle Tower somewhere.
Yeah.
I guess Ganon's Tower, the 2 medallions, and Pyramid Ferry or something? No, we already came out of there.
Yeah, we came out of Pyramid Ferry. So 2 medallion dungeons. I'm not sure if we saw Ice Palace.
Alright, Ice Palace entrance, okay, sure. But that's already 3 dungeons on just 4 entrances.
Yeah, and we did not see the Castle Tower entrance either, because Houston Bobo does not have the cape, and Dracarys did not have the cape when he was there previously.
Yeah, so to answer chat, Ice Palace is at Hype Cave. Which is full clear. Well, Dracarys doesn't have the big key, right? But otherwise, he could finish up Ice Palace.
I've not seen the Ice Palace big key yet. Likely he's holding off until he gets that if possible, so he does not leave the big chest behind.
And he hasn't found anything on this dip yet.
But to answer chat, yes, I don't believe we've seen what's inside the original Ice Palace entrance yet. Gary's not really finding much of note inside Swamp Palace so far. He's got this one last chest he can check.
And it is
Map.
a map.
To a dungeon he's already cleared. So where are we going now? I think both our owners are running pretty low on options here. Going into the Dark World, Ice Palace perhaps?
Yeah, maybe Ice Palace. I'm surprised he hasn't done Trinix and I guess he doesn't need to do Mothula, so he could put that on.
Well, he has no sword, so...
Oh yeah, this...
Still. Oh, not Ice Palace. Okay. Where are we going? Up here?
maybe up the pyramid.
Yeah, maybe he wants to check the entrance in Castle Tower. May also go back into Palace of Darkness while he's here and finally get his first sword.
Alright, what do you think this entrance is?
I'm feeling it's just Castle Tower.
Vanilla? Okay. And it is... It is vanilla! Houston Baba's picked up his cape from Saha as well. He's seen the mitts up on the ledge.
We find a sword.
Oh, a
Dracarys finds
sword!
his first sword inside Castle Tower.
A couple frustration slashes from him.
Baba finally collects this mushroom, which as we know will lead to his fire rod eventually.
I bet Dracarys is happy he doesn't have to do Hammer Aga.
Now after defeating Aghanim, he'll be placed back on top of the pyramid, and at that point he may hammer again, or may mirror again to check out Palace of Darkness. And to answer chat, the Lumberjack drop down is where Ganon is hiding today.
Now, if you're in Dracarys' position, do you feel like you're ahead at this point? It's kind of early to have so few items required to finish.
Yeah, the seat's a bit strange though. Like, they're not missing too many items, but they also don't have very many entrances left, and they're still missing several critical dungeons. Particularly Ganon's Tower. So, it's hard to say how he feels.
Yeah, it definitely feels like early on it was hard to find progression, but then it feels like a lot of, like, once you got to Dark World, you could just clear everything pretty efficiently.
Yeah. Once the game actually opened up, it gave us, the runners, a lot of tools to do a lot of things very efficiently, so despite the slow start, it's been a pretty efficient clear.
Looks like Houston Baba is gonna check out this South Dark World, so he'll find Ice Palace.
Yeah.
And he's gonna go for it.
He is opting to go in. So Dracarys takes down Aghanim. And he does mirror, so he will likely be going back into Palace of Darkness. And we'll be collecting his Master Sword here in a moment.
We found a unique item in Ice Palace. The single arrow.
Yeah. To answer chat, yes, we found all the hard required entrances, but we have not yet found Ganon's Tower, and there's a pretty good chance one of the missing items is in there.
Alright, Pod also has 20 rupees, and he'll go on to kill Helmasaur.
Which is the green pendant, so he'll be able to collect another item afterwards.
Now, do you know if Entrance Shuffle has the junk fill for GT, or does it get rid of that completely?
I believe it does not.
Alright, so yeah, that's a lot of chests that could have anything.
Yeah.
And Ice Palace has a small key to Ganon's tower.
We're starting to see a lot of those now. In fact, I believe we've seen all 4 at this point. And we have also seen the big key. So perhaps there is something upstairs in Ganon's tower.
Maybe the hookshot upstairs.
Would not be the first time. It's always quite cruel when it happens, though. Oh, Houston Baba with the clip into the staircase there.
It was very nice.
Oh, Houston Baba does not have enough magic. I'm gonna have to get some magic and come back to that room later. Dracarys takes down the Helmasaur King and does not get much of note, but did get that green pendant. And let's see, Sahasrara was where again? Ah yes, Sahasrara was up at the Bumper Cave. Quite isolated.
Looks like we're gonna get this entrance checked.
Yeah. Just the Quake Medallion. Fortunate, since the Quake Medallion is the only one that does not affect the bird, so you either kill the bird first or suffer the consequences. And a boomerang in Ice Palace. And there is Ganon's tower in Misery Mire.
So is Dracarys? Oh, he's still looking for the Misery Mire big key.
Yes, he needs that and the hookshot.
So it's interesting that he's skipped the Dark Magician room because the big key could be in there, right?
Yeah. He's opting to only check the stuff that does not require the hookshot. It's an interesting choice. Oh, and there's the hookshot. Interesting. At this point, he could opt to leave and go clear Swamp Palace first. See if that's where the Mire Big Key is, but looks like he's opting to continue.
Yeah, so he's looking for that Misery Mire big key. Houston Baba hasn't found it yet either.
Yeah, there's a pretty good chance it is also here in Ganon's Tower.
Houston Baba's trying to do this hammer cold stare
there
fight.
it is.
Oh!
Found it. That is go mode for Dracarys. At 144.35 approximately.
Oof. Houston Baba just gets bodied by those cold stare puffs.
It's quite curious, however, that Dracarys did not check the other chests in that room for a potential tempered sword. But I guess he's confident.
So just a reminder to everyone watching that if you like what you're seeing, go ahead and give these runners a follow. This is a really complicated mode to run, and I'm sure they've spent a lot of time practicing it.
Indeed. Yeah, Dracarys is not opting to check any more chests, he is just gunning it for the bosses. He's checking this one, I guess, since that one's very quick.
I'm sure Houston Baba is trying to prioritize all these entrances that he hasn't checked because he wants to find out how to get to those mitts.
Yeah. As Dracarys takes down Argus and claims his 4th crystal. And looks like he's gunning for Trinex next. Or no, Misery Mire's right next door, that's right. Well, that works out quite nicely, I suppose.
So let's talk a little bit about this division. So um, I, I I don't know if I caught everything that you said in the beginning, but even if Dracarys wins this one and all your other matches, are you guys still not guaranteed a spot in the playoffs?
Yeah. If we win all our remaining matches, we'll be at 25 points. And the 3 teams above us are currently in the 21 to 24 range, I believe. So we need some losses to happen there in specific matchups as well if we're gonna make it. But we still have a chance.
Which team are you looking at to maybe drop the ball a little?
Looking at the remaining matchups, probably Old Swagger Jackson, but it's hard to say for sure.
All right, we'll have to keep an eye out on those upcoming matches then.
Yeah, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Old Swagger Jackson is actually playing a match later tonight. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye out on that one. Oh, Dracarys walks into a pit. Unfortunate. Bava heading back into Palace of Darkness. Check quite a bit more here now with his extra key. Dracarys takes out Vitrios and appears to be out of arrows. Which could be unfortunate for that upcoming Ganon fight. But he does have a few more dungeons to go through. Perhaps he'll find some more.
Oh, Chad is asking, what happens if you guys tie for the playoffs? There's some sort of tiebreaker, right?
I'm actually not sure about that. I know Fear Agent here is in chat, and he's in charge of the league, so he'd probably know better than I do. Not quite sure what the procedure will be then. he confirms that there would be a tiebreaker in that case.
Head to head is the first tiebreaker.
Dracarys takes out Trinax, collects his 6th crystal.
Getting to go mode Ice Palace probably feels pretty good.
Yeah, not very often you can get away with that in Crossroad Key Sanity. It's just such an item-dense dungeon that you very often just end up completing it, hoping to find something useful. Looks like Dracarys is checking a few chests on his way though. Perhaps hoping for a sword upgrade.
Good thing that those pen gators dropped some arrows, otherwise he'd just have the single one for Ganon.
Yeah, he did kind of need some arrows for the Ganon fight, so I'm sure he's not too unhappy about that.
Yeah, I'll have to ask Houston Baba if he comes in for an interview if he saw that lamp.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I imagine he probably did not. And unless Cold Stare is nice enough to drop another sword, it looks like Dracarys will have a Master Sword Ganon fight on his hands.
Taking out the hammer.
Pretty quick cold stare fight there, given that he's on a Master Sword. Thanks to being able to preserve some magic with the Bombos Medallion.
Yeah, I thought Dracarys would be a little bit above 2 hours, like 2:15 or so, but he's done a good job just blowing past these remaining dungeons.
This could still be a sub 2 if the Ganon fight goes well, but with Master Sword it's going to be a bit slow.
Alright, Houston Baba. Just check what's up on that island. No!
Womp, womp.
No, you have to turn in the mushroom first.
Yeah,
Aww.
that's not quite how that one works, unfortunately.
Alright, so a bunch of Master Sword spins here.
Yeah, 12 spins per phase, and 4 more for phase 4. And then of course in phase 4 you still have to spin attack Ganon to stun him for the silver arrow shots. Using those hookshot iframes to get in close without taking damage from the firebats.
That's a nice spot.
That is a very, very nice position from Ganon. It's always nice when he gives you a bunch of free hits like that. And we are into phase 3. Dracarys unfortunately misses the hit. That's the wait. And wait he shall. Ganon not being too kind with those warps today.
He doesn't
Really?
want to die.
Again, I want none of this. There he goes.
Alright,
And with that, Dracarys takes down Ganon.
go ahead and get your GGs in chat. And just under 2 hours too, Dracarys is finishing with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 52 seconds.
Ganon really cutting the sub too close with those teleports. But it happened. And it looks like we are joined by Dracarys. Hello, GG.
GG, what a seed.
Yeah, that one was a bit fast, wasn't it?
I mean, that just happens if you get early boots, early flute, early glove, early mirror, early moon pearl, just at everything.
Yeah,
Well, except for swords, I guess.
and those came a bit later.
You also had access to the west side of Dark Road kind of late as well.
Yeah, it took me a while to get that hammer from the chain jump, so I kind of put that off. Even though I had access to that quite early, I just didn't want to do it. Just had better stuff to do. But even then, I don't think I lost too much time on that.
Yeah, no.
How many entrances did you have left to check? It seemed like you went through almost all of them.
I think I only had like 2 left. I think I never checked Ice Palace entrance.
Yeah,
I never checked the Turtle Rock entrance. And I never checked the GT entrance.
Yeah, I believe those are the only 3 entrances we did not see.
Yeah, I kind of just forgot about the Ice Palace entrance for the longest time. It only dawned on me when I was heading into the Maya area and opened up Misery Mire, which was GT. Pretty late GT.
It looks like Houston Baba has forfeit.
So with that win, how are you feeling about your team making the playoffs?
Well, we have a shot, but it still depends on old Swagger Jackson dropping a few games.
Let's see if we can
Basically,
get...
we have to win. We have to win every single game and then hope that old Swagger Jackson drop a few. Otherwise, we're out anyway.
let's see if we can get Houston Baba in here. But anything else that you wanted to say about the seed?
No, not really. It was a really nice and really fast seed. I enjoyed this one.
Yeah, that one was definitely on the faster end for cross keys. I've not seen a sub 2 in quite a while.
And we are joined by Houston Baba as well. GG.
Yeah, GG.
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 So did you get a chance to catch where it kind of fell apart for?
I really thought I did not that bad.
Yeah, Dracarys seemed to have blown through the seed, but I think we were saying that the main thing that would have helped you out was the lamp up on Floating Island. Did you happen to see it up on the island, or did you not check?
No, I just saw it in the restream. In the last 10 minutes that you talked about it.
Yeah, I think Dracarys checked it. Yeah, I don't remember if you had the mirror when you got spit out of that entrance, but
Yeah, I
Dracarys
forgot
got it.
about the marine there.
Right, because Dracarys got that lamp, and that allowed him to go through the dark connector at Agina's cave, which got him the mitts, and yeah, it kind of all came together for him there.
Oh, okay.
Anything that you want to say about the seed? Did you feel like it was going okay, or did you feel like you were kind of having to go back and forth between a bunch of one-off entrances to try to find the progression?
I don't play crossword key sanity that often.
So it's kind of hard to judge.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about the seed. I think it was a good seed if Drake pulled off a sub 2.
All right. So if nobody has anything else to say, let's take a look at what's on the schedule coming. Looks like, as Goomba mentioned before, Swagger Jackson is going to be starting their race in a little less than a couple hours, like 90 minutes or so. That'll be on Speed Gaming 4. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's a different match. Old Swagger Jackson's match is at 8:15 Eastern Time. But we have another league match coming up in the 90 minutes, as I mentioned. That's between French Canadians and Old Nintendo Swag. That one's on Speed Gaming 4, and the Old Swagger Jackson match will be on Speed Gaming 2. So thanks guys for running this match. GG again. Cross keys is always a real brain burner. And thank you to my co-commentator Goomba for doing this with me.
Yeah, no problem. It was a pleasure. It was a bit last minute for me, but I had fun.
Yep. And we'll sign off here.